Okay. Provide professional development around mental health awareness and interventions for students, parents, and faculty. Provide professional development around mental health awareness. I don't know what that means. Do you, by chance?
No, I don't think they do either.
Okay, but it sounded kind of important the way it was written. Number 5, require cultural competency. Now listen to this carefully. Require cultural competency and de-escalation trainings each quarter for law enforcement provided by the local police department in conjunction with equity training organizations and companies. Boy, do you want to tackle that one?
Well, it's just stupid. It's more the left. See, what the left's doing, the police are the bad guys. They're the ones that need to learn how to de-escalate. No, rarely do I see a police video where I think that officer really messed up. Normally, you'll see a police video. They tell a guy, put your hands up, stay still, don't move. The guy moves, he stands up, puts his hands in his pockets, reaches for something, gets shot. That's just how that works, all right? If you're that ignorant, then, you shouldn't be in a car driving around where you may have a chance of engaging an officer because you're obviously too ignorant to talk to him. So, yeah, this makes police look like they're the cause of the problem, and that's a classic leftist position.
It certainly is, and it was a giveaway with cultural competency. That was the giveaway right there before the rest of that, whatever it did.
One other thing, their cultural competency, since they're leftists, they're not capable of linear thought. But if they were, they'd have to realize that whose culture do we have to be competent in? They didn't define that because do they mean the cultural competency in the culture that we see in Saudi Arabia where I don't even know if women can drive? Or is it the culture in another Middle Eastern country where women have to be completely covered, only their eyes can show? Is that what we need to be competent in? Or do we need to be competent in a culture where they don't love their neighbors, but they eat their neighbors? I mean, which culture are they talking about? See, they want it because they want to be multicultural and embrace everybody. So who decides which culture counts? That's another mess for them to figure out.
It is, and it's a great question to ask, and one that they won't have an answer to if you were to ask them that. No one asked them that in the meeting where they discussed this. Nobody brought that up. That's why it's there. But, something else I want to point out about these police officers, too, that maybe these kids might want to think about, and that is sometimes, like happened here in the state of Georgia last week, sometimes officers simply approach a vehicle and get shot and killed as they're approaching the vehicle. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes a Georgia State Highway Patrol officer pulls a vehicle over on Interstate 75 and gets shot at. In this case, had an opportunity to fire back. Sometimes officers are murdered in the line of duty before they even have an opportunity to say, hi, how are you today? The reason I'm stopping you is. Wake up, children. Wake the hell up. Number 6, implement equitable funding to traditionally under-resourced schools specifically allocated for after-school programs. This is a whole nother, Al Gore midnight basketball spoof thing. 7, support marginalized communities by educating and recognize systemic and institutional oppressions, as well as implement programs that remedy the inequities for those marginalized communities. Again, that's nothing but a bunch of gibberish. It's everybody's a racist is where we're going with that. Race has to play in every card dealt by the left. You can't have a white paper without the racial card being played somewhere. Reduce the stigma surrounding mental health. Now, here we get to the parts that you wrote about here. Let's go to number 10. Require all gun dealers, sellers, and owners to report stolen guns. Prohibit the sale under the National Firearms Act of semi-automatic military-style weapons, like the M1 Garand, that fire velocity rounds, bump stocks, and other accessories that alter the original firing capacity of a firearm. I'm going to let you take that away, mute my mic, and laugh.
I mean, here's the deal. These people don't know a bump stock from Cheyenne. What are they talking about? A bump stock changes the capacity of a firearm? I mean, they're stupid. Now, here's the deal. Velocity rounds?
What is the velocity round? Do you know, by the way? I can't find that description
anywhere. Here's what they do, though. They used to accuse the Republicans of this, but the Democrats use these little phrases that you call dog whistle. And by that, I mean little phrases that when people hear them, they know one leftist is telling another leftist, hey, I'm one of you. You're one of me. And that's all they're doing. So they want to work in all these words, velocity and magazine capacity and bump stock. It doesn't matter if they don't go together. It doesn't matter if one word doesn't link to the other to form an argument. It doesn't matter. They just shove them all in that paragraph, and they say, hey, look, I'm one of you. I'm thinking like you. And they're just ignorant. And I said a while ago that this was written by kids, and I made it almost sound like because written by kids, it's ignorant. I shouldn't have said that. Some kids aren't ignorant, but these kids are. The kids who wrote this, you can tell that they've been educated by people who have just passed them from one class to another because they don't even know how to use the language.
and done it in a left-wing fashion and fed them left-wing ideals. Let's go back. I got the velocity round. I had no. All right, number 11. Velocity round. Require universal background checks before all gun purchases. Eliminate loopholes by connecting local, state, and federal databases of prohibited purchasers. Require a minimum mandatory waiting period of 10 days to purchase a firearm, and raise the age to purchase a firearm from 18 to 21 with exceptions for responsible training like military service. And then promote responsible gun ownership by requiring safe storage policies and modeling gun licensing after driver's licensing, etc. And then investing in reducing gun violence by funding the Center for Disease Control. AWR, you've got 20 seconds. Would anything on this page have stopped the madman in Pittsburgh?
No, not even almost.
You don't even need the 20 seconds. AWR, I got to cut you on that one, man. The answer is no. Short and sweet. We've got about 15 seconds left. Thank you, man, for everything that you do. Breitbart News, AWR Hawkins, at AWR Hawkins. Follow him everywhere. Facebook.com/AWR Hawkins. Instagram, AWR Hawkins.